Hey, this is Buck Dharma of Blue Oyster Cult, and you're listening to the Sports Circus.
Welcome to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster, Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP Television. Today's show is brought to you by uppercutchops.com. Check out their tasty selection of all-natural, dry-aged USDA prime Wagyu steaks and chops. Wait till you taste their best-in-class New York steaks, the filet mignon, and of course the king of all, those gigantic cowboy cut and tomahawk cut ribeyes. Best I've ever had. Probably be the best you ever have as well. Check them out at uppercutchops.com. That's uppercutchops.com, or give them a call, find out what's for dinner. 714-948-0100, 714-948-0100. Again, 714-948-0100 for uppercutchops.com. Yes! All right, a big welcome in, everybody watching on Chicago Food Favorites on Facebook. That's right. Plus, a big welcome in, everybody on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates and independents from coast to coast. Cox, Comcast, Spectrum, Frontier, Oceanic, Time Warner, Spectrum, and WOW Cable Television affiliates in select markets, Hotel TV, and, of course, everybody on the Mars rover as well. And as you are well aware of, we've had a change in administration, and, of course, a very welcome change for a lot of people. And how about the fact of the transgender athletes? Look, I have no articles on this. I'm only going on everything that I know and everything I've seen in the last several years. I have to tell you, folks, first of all, when we see men competing against women in women's sports, first of all, it's unfair. Why is it unfair? Well, there's a lot of reasons. We don't have enough time for one show on this. But what I will say is that men are 40% stronger than women just by genetic makeup in the first place. But secondly, it is an unfair advantage. And why is it that the men just can't compete with the men and the women just can't compete with the women? And see, the interesting thing about this, it's some people say, well, that's kind of a false inverse, or you're looking at it in a very different light. They say, well, maybe it would be okay if they had some kind of reassignment or something to the effect. Look, I don't care. I don't want to get into the politics of that. But what I do want to make sure that I get across to the people, in my opinion, is that, look, it's okay for technically, because women are 40% less stronger than men just by their genetic makeup. And I'm okay with women competing in men's sports. But I'm not okay with men competing in women's sports. And there's, again, a bunch of reasons for that. But let's face it, if a woman is strong enough and good enough to compete in a man's sport, then I say, go ahead and do it. I'm good with that. But it's just unfair for basketball players and football players and whether it's flag football or whatever. I don't give a damn. Or gymnastics or whatever the heck it is. It's not fair. Period. And even Donald J. Trump, our 47th president of these United States of America, says the United States policy will only recognize two genders. And of course, everybody has mentioned this, but I'm going to mention it again. And among the plans and priorities, Trump announced in his inaugural address, he said, quote, "As of today, it will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female." Close quote. Of course, the last administration recognized, I don't know, there was 20-odd genders? I'm not really sure. Something to that effect. Who the hell knows? But when they're referring to sex, it refers to a person's biological status and is typically assigned at birth, usually on the basis of external anatomy. Sex is typically categorized as male, female, or intersex. This is according to WGBH.org. This is not me, this is them. And gender is often defined as a social construct of norms, behaviors, and roles that varies between societies and over time. Gender is often categorized as male, female, or non-binary. While gender has traditionally been understood as either male or female, over time, somehow, many people have come to recognize this as binary. Many Americans identify as non-binary, agender, gender expansive, or gender queer, or whatever. Gender, I don't know. I mean, look, ultimately, folks, what are we talking about here? Sports. Why is it significant? Because, look, we even think in Olympics and in college sports and whatever, and professional sport. Well, hey, Susie wants to compete against the men, and Joe wants to compete against the women. But Joe will now identify as Josephine because Joe can't beat the guys in the first place. And Susie may be good enough to beat the guys. Let's give her a shot. Other than that, it's not fair. But I wonder what is going to happen now with this male or female situation, and what Donald Trump and his administration, how they are going to handle this in collegiate sports, how are they going to handle it in professional sports. I mean, let's face it, what's fair is fair. And you're supposed to compete against your own, and that seems to be fair. But I wonder how that's going to work. And when we think about the landscape of the proverbial name, image, and likeness situation, so how does that work? And I can say that I have seen at one particular university that I will not mention, I have seen on the women's basketball team what I thought to believe was a player with an Adam's apple on the women's basketball team. That's right. That's right. So if that's the case, all right, audience, if that's the case, then why is it that men are competing with women? And so I wonder if that particular university is going to be, I guess, singled out. Well, not really, because there seems to be a lot of that in women's basketball in the first place. But I wonder if they're going to be singled out because it's painstakingly obvious, and that is a tremendous advantage, and it's not even fair. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, is the WNBA going to go that way as well? Is the WNBA going to allow men to compete? I don't know. I don't think so, because, again, that would be remarkably unfair. But here's the interesting tidbit about that. A lot of those teams are controlled by NBA teams. So I guess maybe that would be a developmental league for the NBA to have the men competing in there. I don't know. That's what the G League is supposed to be for. But I guess what I'm saying is we think about fair competition, and then we say, what about all the money being thrown around in those name, image, and likeness efforts? Now, that in itself is a really, really big problem because amateur athletes are now being paid. These are the alleged student athletes, but then again, is there such a student athlete now playing, I don't know, football, basketball, for example? Do we see that in today's time? I don't think so. No, because these players are now paid professionals. Therefore, they are not amateurs. And they should not be allowed to compete in NCAA athletics against those that are not paid as well. So let's face it. When you have paid professionals, you give up your amateur standing. You are now a professional. You are now not. This is in history. You can see this, folks. You are not an amateur athlete anymore. This is how it's been for decades and decades. And honestly, paying these players millions of dollars, college players, and it's even trickling down to high school. It's an abomination to the system. And how about this? We think about the college football top 50 programs ranked by name, image, and likeness efforts. Yeah, you just saw a national title game. Got to tell you, folks, I did not watch 1 second of it. Not one. I know who was going to win. Somebody had asked me. Actually, 3 people had asked me before the game. I said the team from Columbus is going to end up winning by double digits, and that's exactly what they did. They won by 11 points. It was remarkably predictable in the first place. This is exactly what the TV money wanted. It is what the name, image, and likeness efforts wanted. It's what the university systems, I'm talking about in terms of the conferences, it is what they wanted. Because Michigan won the national title last year, and they beat Ohio State. This year, well, Ohio State did everything they could, and they said after the national title was won by Michigan last season, they said, well, we're going to do everything and we're going to throw as much money as we have to at this. Well, guess what, folks? That is exactly what happened.
Show me the money!
That's right. They showed the money, and in my opinion, Ohio State bought a national championship. And that in itself is an abomination to what college sports is supposed to be in the first place. It's disgusting. I'll be back in a few minutes, folks. Don't go anywhere.
Attention business owners, you and your customers are listening to this right now. Face it, every business needs customers, even yours. The Sports Circus is a primetime nationally syndicated program that's carried on ABC, NBC, CNBC, and Westwood One News affiliates, plus CBS, Fox, and NBC Sports affiliates across North America, with coverage from Hawaii to New York. Also, the Sports Circus is available to the 180 million subscribers on iHeartRADIO, and the Sports Circus gets about 4 million website visitors per month, which could click through your website and bring sales. The Sports Circus provides great content featuring celebrity guests from sports and entertainment to our audience every weekday, which your company could greatly benefit from by increasing your visibility, foot traffic, eyeballs to your website, and calls from potential customers. Call us right now at
714-948-0100. Again, 714-948-0100.
Or email us at info@thesportscircus.com. That's info@thesportscircus.com. Drive your sales today by advertising with the Sports Circus.
Could you use a little extra money right now? If you'd like to borrow up to $100,000 and get pre-approved in minutes, call the number we'll give you at the end of this commercial. Our lending partners have already loaned millions of dollars to individuals just like you, and we're ready to lend you up to $100,000 if you qualify. Even if your credit is not perfect, you could use the money to pay off high-interest credit cards, for home renovations, or consolidate existing debt. You can get flexible, easy-to-pay terms. The consultation to find out if you qualify is free. To find out if you qualify for our special financing program, call this toll-free number 24 hours a day. 800-335-1376. 800-335-1376. 800-335-1376. That's 800-335-1376. Important terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Loan amount, annual percentage rate, and term will vary depending on creditworthiness. Applying does not guarantee approval. Account approval is subject to verification and confirmation of your credit history and acceptance by a lender. If you choose to apply for a loan through us, a consumer report will be obtained to evaluate your creditworthiness in connection with your application for credit.
That's the sound of sizzling, dry-aged USDA prime Wagyu and Angus steaks from uppercutchops.com. Their best-in-class filet mignons, New York steaks, and the king of all steaks, the tomahawk and cowboy cut ribeyes, are the best in the business. Even their prime Wagyu burgers will likely be the best you've ever had. Browse the full selection of steaks and chops at uppercutchops.com from the comfort of your home or on your mobile device. Uppercutchops.com delivers all natural, dry-aged USDA prime Wagyu and Angus steaks and chops directly to your door, without the hassle of going to the grocery store and fight crowds to pick from a small selection of average at best meats with injected steroids, fillers, and coloring added to look good. Find out what's for dinner at uppercutchops.com or call
714-948-0100. 714-948-0100. Again, 714-948-0100.
or make your selection directly at uppercutchops.com.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm Roy Firestone. Now it's time to throw it back to Sal.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster, Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP Television. This segment brought to you in part by our friends over at the College of Southern Nevada Athletics. Check them out at csncoyotes.com for upcoming games and events. That's csncoyotes.com for upcoming events for the College of Southern Nevada Athletics. All right. All right, welcome back, everybody. Our friends on Chicago Food Favorites on Facebook. Thanks for joining us here. Folks, if you don't know what that is, check that out. It's a fun group on Facebook talking about food, favorite foods, favorite restaurants, likes, dislikes, recipes, whatever. Check it out, Chicago Food Favorites on Facebook, and tell them your ringmaster sent you. Yes! Oh, and by the way, don't spam that page or that group because I will delete everything that is not food related. Believe me, I do it all the time, and I will continue to do it. We started out with 0, and now we have over 1,800 people going strong on this particular page. And listen, if you are a member of Chicago Food Favorites, make sure you post your favorite restaurants and your recipes and your likes and dislikes or whatever the hell it is. Have some fun with it, folks. All right. More applause. Lots of applause. All right, welcome back to everybody listening in on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates, including our friends over in Honolulu on CBS Sports 1500 KHKA. That's home of the New York Yankees, the Alabama Crimson Tide, and of course the San Francisco 49ers. Welcome into, Jerry Owens. Hey, Jerry, thanks for joining us today. Welcome in to everybody also in Atlanta, WDJY 99.1 FM. Over in Auburn, Alabama, WAUD, home of your number 1 ranked Auburn Tigers. We'll give you guys a nice round of applause. Don't know how long that's going to last because Duke is right on your heels. And I got to tell you, folks, those guys are legit. And believe me, for everybody watching this on Chicago Food Favorites, you'll see that I'm holding up Duke's stuff right now. Duke's stickers. I got this really cool, handy-dandy thing from the Alumni Association, and I serve on Duke's Academic Advisory Committee to interview incoming freshman applicants. So, hey, listen, keep the academics strong, folks. Believe it or not, that is what school is all about in the first place. All right, so back to this college football's top 50 ranked programs ranked by NIL, or name, image, and likeness efforts. I mean, this is really an abomination to what college sports is supposed to be. So synonymous with college football nowadays, with the biggest brands, as we've seen in a football game that was played last night, that the concern meter was on absolute 0 in the first place, there's a direct correlation between booster generosity, or you could say payoffs, and substantial success in recent years. A wealth of resources strengthened college football teams in the game's new era of name, image, and likeness, and record-setting revenue figures within the SEC and the Big Ten. It's, of course, a shot in the arm to teams consistently in the playoff conversation. And this is all according to 247sports.com. We want to make sure we give them a little bit of love here. And, of course, which universities have the most generous boosters is what we really want to know. According to total cumulative donations and contributions, kind of like the campaign slush funds for all those people out there in the political world, as we've seen from the blue team. Millions and millions and millions of dollars went into the blue team efforts just to fall a little bit short, if you know what I mean. That's right. That's right. New administration, Donald J. Trump, number 45 and number 47 currently. Of course, and a round of applause for Mr. Trump and for our friend Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Of course, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., head of Department of Health and Human Services. Good for him. Bobby's going to do a great job over there. You've seen him on the show here occasionally, and guess what? Maybe he'll be back soon. I'm not really sure. It depends on what the schedule is, but he is on the About page for the Sports Circus, in case you're keeping score. Nonetheless, we go back to which universities have the most generosity, and then according to those donations, contributions, findings from 2005 through the end of 2022, not even the last couple of years or so. Those seasons via USA Today and the Knight Commission program, who receive the most donor funds, tend to have heightened advantages. Oh, gee, what a big surprise, against others through recruiting success, coaching, prestige, facility enhancement, and other upgrades. So only public universities were included in the findings. Now, first of all, before I get into that part of it, I have a problem with the idea of public universities using public money, taxpayer money, to do what? Pay students that are already on scholarship in the first place? Come on! That's ridiculous. So yes, imagine, let's say you live in the state of Mississippi, one of the poorest states in the Union, and you say, well, geez, maybe somebody at Mississippi State University is getting paid lots and lots and lots of money to play football or basketball or Ole Miss, same thing. Well, wait a minute. Don't they ranked at the bottom of education in these United States of America? And last I checked, I believe they did. And so why would they be paying millions of dollars to an athlete to go play a particular sport of sorts? That's what I would like to know. And quite honestly, it is a little embarrassing to imagine that the taxpayers absolutely have to pay for student athletes, but yet their local school systems are not being enhanced. How does that work? Nonetheless, back to this public universities thing in this particular report, with expansion and conference realignment behind the primary talking points of the offseason 2024 kickoff, we'll go back to that one. Financially secure institutions seems to have an advantage over everything. And so let's take this article back all the way to August. Never mind what happened in this football game that was played last night or the night before or whatever it is. It depends on when you're listening to this broadcast, because we're played at all different times in all different markets as well. So 8 a.m. over in Atlanta, 3 p.m. over in Hawaii, 6 p.m. over in Auburn. You never know, folks. We're all over the place. So it depends on when you get this. But my point is, look, this is many months ago that this came out. But the payoffs have only gotten bigger and crazier. So the money seems to trump everything else moving forward. With that said, let's think about this. The Memphis Tigers rank at number 50. The University of Memphis, $170 million. Yes, for their name, image, and likeness donations and contributions. Yeah, that's right. So they say, well, that's private money. Okay, it may be private money, but the pressure goes on to what? The schools for signing what? Big contracts to coaches, millions and tens of millions of dollars for coaches. Same thing for players. And now the universities will be splitting the revenues, allegedly, with the athletes in the first place.
Show me the money!
Isn't that what this is all about? Yeah. Number 49 is the Maryland Terrapins, $194 million. No, we're not going to go over each and every one of these. But think about this, folks. The Minnesota Golden Gophers at ranked number 48, $199 million. Now, Minnesota is a good school academically, so I don't have a lot of problem with that. But what I do have a problem with is the pressure that the boosters and these contributors are putting onto the programs. Why? Because the TV contracts play in this, and the TV contracts bring revenue. Well, guess what? How much of that revenue are we seeing going to academia? Well, last I checked, it sure as hell isn't much. And if you notice at the top of the segment, we had the College of Southern Nevada Athletics as this segment brought to you in part by. Why? Because the College of Southern Nevada Athletics doesn't really get supported by the College of Southern Nevada in the first place. Now, it's a good school. Mind you, it's probably the best school in this valley, here in the Vegas Valley. Yes, above the main university, which is, in my opinion, high school with ashtrays. However, the College of Southern Nevada Athletics is essentially a standalone financial entity. Yes, they do get a very small amount of money from the College of Southern Nevada, but they really don't get funded like these universities and colleges with these crazy amounts of money. And think about even Colorado, the Buffaloes, number 46, $208 million go into that institution because of what? Name, image, and likeness boosters and crap like that. The money is lunacy. We're going to carry this one over into the next segment, folks, because when you look at this and you say, all right, why is it that the universities can't take the money that they get and drive it into academia, which is the building blocks of what? Education in the first place, rather than athletic facilities. Oh, that's right, because the big driver, the pay me now, the instant money, instant gratification comes from athletics rather than the long-term stability comes from academics. Now, in case you missed the boat on that one, folks, well, maybe you didn't go to college. Maybe you don't understand how economies work. Maybe you don't understand how economics work. Maybe you don't understand how money works. Well, guess what? We're going to try to clue you in on that in just a few minutes here on the Sports Circus. Lots more to come. You don't want to miss this one, folks. This is one of those hot buttons here for the circus, and I'm going to continue on with this rodeo. Don't go anywhere. Lots more to come. I'm your ringmaster, Sal, of the Sports Circus, a primetime, nationally syndicated television, radio, sports, and entertainment show. The Sports Circus covers topics others are too scared to talk about. There's no other primetime show like it out here that'll punch you in the face and you'll beg for more. Join me, Hall of Famers, world champions, and all-star celebrity guests for chaos and controversy here on Libsyn and all podcast platforms, plus thesportscircus.com. Remember, folks, it's a circus and we prove it every day.
Hello Americans, it's Uncle Sam here. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes to the IRS or state, don't worry. I've got important news that may help you negotiate a lower tax bill. In today's economy, the IRS has released a variety of new rules and is offering more flexible terms to help Americans looking to settle their IRS debt. If you apply today, we may be able to lift your wage garnishments and release a freeze on your bank assets or business. Our team of tax professionals can resolve your case and stop collection actions against you. Even if you've been audited or haven't filed a return in years, they can help. Call right now and find out if you qualify to settle your IRS debt for far less than what you owe. Pick up your phone right now and call us for a free $500 IRS tax review. Don't wait. Here's the number.
Call right now. 800-950-2049. 800-950-2049. 800-950-2049. For the last time, that's 800-950-2049.
Do a search on how to get out of credit card debt, and you'll find everything from crazy promises to ways you can try to do it yourself. Many of those ideas just don't work, and they leave you broker than you were. Here's some advice. Call our debt helpline. In a quick and free 5-minute conversation, our experts will listen to you and learn about how much credit card debt you have, what your goals are, and then show you the right solution to help you get out of credit card debt with one new simple, affordable payment. The credit card companies make available special programs to help if you're struggling. All it takes for you to finally get out of credit card debt is one quick, free phone call. So please call right now.
800-948-6817. 800-948-6817. 800-948-6817. That's 800-948-6817. Paid for by the Debt Helpline.
That's ridiculous.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
Hey everyone, Dave Jackson here, ESPN rules analyst on ESPN Hockey, and you're listening to the Sports Circus.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster, Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP Television. This segment is brought to you in part by our friend Jason Owens and Jason Owens Music. All right. Now, folks, recently we had Jason Owens on the show, and he is a country music artist, and what a good guy. I'm telling you, folks, there are good people out there, and I will have to say that he is one of those guys you want to root for no matter what. Listen, I'm not a big country music fan, but I like this kid. He is good. I can say a kid because everybody is younger than me. But anyway, check him out at jasonowensmusic.com. That's jasonowensmusic.com. This guy has toured all over the place, played Vegas well over, 100 plus times. Going to be right out here in Vegas again real soon. And you know what? Check him out, folks, because you might like him. He's one of those guys that not only can he sing, this boy can play guitar, he can play banjo too, but more importantly, he has clever lyrics to his music. Check him out at jasonowensmusic.com and tell him the circus sent you. Yes! That's the extended applause for Jason Owens. All right, moving on here. Last segment, we had the college football top 50 programs ranked by NIL. Now, mind you, this was back from, several months ago. I think it was last August from 247 Sports. And mind you, this is only public university money, mind you, for public universities. Of course, that's a hot button for me, as I mentioned, because, well, what about the academics for the institutions? All right, so maybe we'll try to find some of those in here. Now, I said Memphis was number 50 at $170 million. Now, Memphis is the only group of 5 school in the top 50 over the last 17 years. What does that say about the sizable gap between the Power 4 conferences and the group of 5 ranks? The number is likely higher now that the data has aged after Federal Express announced back in April it was funding $25 million for Memphis and their name, image, and likeness. So it's believed to be the largest corporate partnership with athletics per CBS Sports and is earmarked to fund $5 million in NIL per season for Memphis athletes for the next 5 years. So moving on past there, remember I had mentioned Mississippi State? Well, sure enough, sure as the sun rises in the east, Mississippi State receives, well, the athletes and whatnot. The NIL money is a whopping $273 million. Well, good for them, but bad for the state of Mississippi's education system, which ranks among the bottom in the United States of America. Why is that? And Mississippi State, I got to tell you, folks, academically, compared to the University of Mississippi, it is night and day. And Ole Miss, in my opinion, crushes Mississippi State in academics. Yet, $273 million as of last August was reported to go there. Where'd the money go to? How much in academia? Moving on. The University of Kentucky, for all you people down in Kentucky, $302 million. A solid institution. We're okay. Ole Miss, the Rebels, we talked about them. Well, guess what? Ole Miss, $310 million compared to Miss State's $273 million. Between the two institutions, that's nearly $600 million that filters its way to the academic world. No, to the athletic world for the universities. And the problem is, how does the taxpayer get any value out of this? They don't! No! So the problem is, you have money sliding in this direction and that direction. I mean, we're not even including Southern Miss. We're not even including Mississippi College and this one, that, and the other one. You're talking $600 million here. Why are the schools so bad in the state of Mississippi? Moving on. K-State tied with Arkansas, $324 million. Academically, 2 states that are in question. Arkansas, certainly. Again, where's the $324 million going to? Oh, that's right. Name, image, and likeness. Never mind academics. Oh, we don't want to deal with that now, do we? Now, we go to the University of North Carolina, those guys that play from Chapel Hill. They cracked the top 30 with some of the ACC's top givers, which contribute a large portion, how convenient, to men's basketball. And now with Bill Belichick involved with football, I wonder how much money and how fast they're going to climb up to the top 5. There's always a handsome payout on the hardwood, of course, for their basketball team at Carolina. And needless to say, as they were able to retain Armando Bacot last season through NIL and have veteran point guard R.J. Davis returning. Why? Yes, they're returning because why? They're getting paid. What kind of crap is that? That's unbelievable. That's disgusting. Moving on, we look at Penn State, $386 million, solid institution. Texas Tech, $396 million, land-grant university, good stuff. Washington, University of Washington, one of the better schools in America, public schools, that is $402 million. Now, among the public universities out west, Washington, that is, their givers were substantial at just over $400 million. And that came before the Huskies' rise during the 2023 season that included a conference championship and national title game appearance. And that number has to increase over the next 2 decades to maintain the Huskies' competitiveness in the Big Ten? What? Oh, that's right. Because money talks and BS walks. That's how it is. And what they've done is they've turned college sports into the drivers for the universities. Nevertheless, they are not as important as the universities themselves. How about this? How about South Carolina, who typically is a relatively poor state, and the state schools, the education system is not that good, but ranked number 17 and 18. 17 being, or better yet, 18 being South Carolina, University of South Carolina, the original USC. The Gamecocks, $466 million, while Clemson, $476 million. Now, it's crazy how close the Gamecocks and Tigers are on the grand scale of giving, almost equal within the Palmetto State. And South Carolina won 2 national championships in baseball and a women's basketball title during the stretch of substantial help from donors, while Clemson captured 2 college football playoff national championships in a multi-year stretch under Dabo Swinney to strengthen its brand nationally. And South Carolina added a second national championship to Dawn Staley's trophy case over the summer as well. So think about this. We don't really care much about the fact that our student athletes someday are not going to be able to play sports. Nah, we don't care about that. How about the idea, let's just pay everybody that doesn't matter because they're not going to contribute in the long run to the university anyway. And I'm going to go right back to right here in Las Vegas to good old College of Southern Nevada and Bryce Harper. That's right, Bryce Harper. Last I checked, he had a $300 and some odd million contract. Now, I don't know what the details are because I'm not privy to that. But good old Bryce Harper got all that money. How much money has trickled its way back to the College of Southern Nevada Athletics? How much of that? Come on, people. Go ahead. Somebody please chime in here. How about Ian from the Sports Angle? Maybe you're watching here on Facebook Live, and of course, everybody else listening in on our affiliates, CBS, NBC, Fox, and our independents. How about everybody watching on TV? What is the number that Bryce Harper has put in to the College of Southern Nevada Athletics? Last I checked, it was nothing. That's right. And we're going to let those boos play out only because it is my opinion that he is absolutely lucky to have been carried by the College of Southern Nevada Athletics through a baseball program, in my opinion, in which he, as a player, deserved, but as a human, maybe not. I don't know. I don't know him personally. I know people that do know him, and I've heard some things that, well, let's put it this way. Somehow, magically, he made it through a baseball season at the College of Southern Nevada Athletics. Maybe it's a chapter in his life that he just doesn't want to remember. I don't know. It's just my opinion, and I'm entitled to it. And if you don't like it, too damn bad. The reality is a lot of these players will go through college A, B, or C, whatever the hell it is, and they'll forget who got them where they are in the first place. And that is disgusting. That's right. That's right. Listen, folks, this is a real big, hot subject. As a matter of fact, when we come back here from break, we're going to cover the top 10 because Michigan, Tennessee, Virginia, Alabama, and Ohio State are all at about 500 million plus. And we'll come back with Ohio State in just a few minutes here on the Sports Circus. Don't go anywhere.
Can your IRA stand up to the next financial crisis that our top economists are saying is at our doorsteps? By allocating a percentage of your IRA into physical gold and silver with a tax-free rollover, you can diversify and safeguard your holdings from turbulent markets and economic downturns by putting your IRA back on the gold standard. Find out how to safeguard your assets with a tax-free rollover with a Genesis Gold IRA, the only IRA that can hold physical precious metals. Call now for your free gold and silver report. Protect your IRA today with one simple phone call and learn how to qualify for up to $10,000 in free silver. Call Genesis Gold Group, empowering faith-driven stewardship. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. That's 800-932-5517.
If you served in the Marine Corps, by now you know about the contaminated water problem at Camp Lejeune. If you were stationed or worked at Camp Lejeune from 1953 to 1987, you probably have a lot of questions. We have some answers. You could be entitled to compensation. Billions of dollars are being allocated to pay for damages to anyone stationed at Camp Lejeune during that time. Unfortunately, it appears that officials may have known the contaminated water problem existed and did little to protect their men. The Semper Fi Code was not honored. If you or someone in your family has developed a serious illness, including various forms of cancer, call this Camp Lejeune legal support line right now. You can't turn back the clock and change what happened, but you can certainly call right now and learn your rights as a Marine. Here's the number.
Call 800-335-7196. 800-335-7196. That's 800-335-7196.
Do a search on how to get out of credit card debt, and you'll find everything from crazy promises to ways you can try to do it yourself. Many of those ideas just don't work, and they leave you broker than you were. Here's some advice. Call our debt helpline. In a quick and free 5-minute conversation, our experts will listen to you and learn about how much credit card debt you have, what your goals are, and then show you the right solution to help you get out of credit card debt with one new simple, affordable payment. The credit card companies make available special programs to help if you're struggling. All it takes for you to finally get out of credit card debt is one quick, free phone call. So please call right now.
800-948-6817. 800-948-6817. 800-948-6817. That's 800-948-6817. Paid for by the Debt Helpline.
Hey everybody, this is Brian Urlacher. Welcome back to the Sports Circus.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster, Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP Television. Folks, make sure you check out thesportscircus.com for our upcoming guests, our prior guests, or recorded shows that can be found on Apple, Amazon, Audible, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRADIO, you name it, we're there. You can't get away from us. Also, make sure you check out the store. Yes, we have a store over there, too. A shameless plug for the Sports Circus. Lots of hats and hoodies and sweatshirts and sweatpants for all you cold weather people right now that are really freezing across the country. Guess what? Last I saw in Chicago, it was 8 degrees below zero, and the wind chill was about 30 below, maybe 25, 30 below zero. So bundle up. I hear it's the cold and flu season. Make sure you get out over the sportscircus.com and the store and pick up one of those hats or coats or maybe even a coffee mug to keep your coffee nice and warm, or your travel mug while you're driving around. Also, make sure you check out the partners page. Lots of great partners over there as well. As found on Chicago Food Favorites, some of our favorites, Al's #1 Italian beef at 1079 West Taylor Street in Chicago's Little Italy. Folks, if you can't get over there, if you're not in Chicagoland right now, guess what? You can check them out at alsbeef.com. That's alsbeef.com. Founded in 1938, they are the originators of the Italian beef sandwich. If you don't know what it is, you better ask somebody. Don't confuse it with that awful Philly cheesesteak sandwich, which is a fried sandwich with stuff on it, slapped on a bun with cheese whiz, and send you out the door. Get some real cooking, good for you food, and at the same time, something that is really tasty, and that is a Chicago favorite, especially on Chicago Food Favorites on Facebook. All right. Now back to this name, image, and likeness thing. Welcome back to everybody, by the way, TV and radio. Back to this name, image, and likeness spending lunacy. According to 247sports.com, here's a really interesting study on the top 50 universities and colleges that blow money on their athletes and their coaching and their, well, let's put it this way. They say, we don't care about academics, do we? Let's just focus on athletics. That's where we're making money. Never mind the idea that education is the building blocks of an economy, and therein lies a very small problem for the masses. Nonetheless, this top 11, actually, no, we'll go to the top 15. Michigan, $493 million. Tennessee, $500 million. Virginia, $516. Alabama, $528 million. And Ohio State, who seemingly bought themselves a national title in football. That's right. Think about this. Project Ohio State into the top 10 after a memorable offseason, blah, blah, blah. They secured an extra $20 million in deals, whatever. And they said, we're going to go ahead and we're going to be the #1 school in football because Michigan won it last year. And, of course, think about this. Here in 2022, only 9 public schools outside the Power 5 had more than $62 million in total operating expenses for their entire athletic program. Meanwhile, Ohio State, $536 million. And mind you, folks, that's before this football season. Oh, yeah.
Show me the money!
Disgusting. Number 10, Florida State. Now, Florida State, they might be working, of course, with J.P. Morgan to fund a gargantuan buyout to leave the ACC, but Florida State has no worries in the financial giving department, according to the raw data from USA Today and the Knight Commission. Florida State has received the most money in donations in the ACC over the last 17 years, prior to last fall's, mind you, 23's unbeaten regular season, which led to facility enhancements and athletic department growth. So there's a whole nother discussion. Oh, by the way, they even recently upgraded their football locker rooms and other athletic facilities so they would be impressive. Well, guess what? What about the academics? Now, Auburn comes in at $580 million. Auburn annually seems to land wealthy one-off donations, but one of the biggest came in 2019 when the Tigers received $10 million from a particular family that was earmarked for the new practice facility, and it was the largest gift in program history and pushed the donation funds over $30 million for the new facility. And so those individuals said at the time their giving was an effort to make the Tigers more competitive in recruiting. So think about this. Auburn did hire Hugh Freeze as its new coach and recently paid ex-coach Brian Harsin a $15 million buyout. What a waste of money that was. A colossal waste on that clown. Moving on, Oklahoma, $597 million. Never mind all that. Academically, in my opinion, dumb as bricks. Moving on, LSU, right there with them. If you have a pulse, you can attend the Louisiana State University. In case you didn't know that, everybody can go there. So good for them and also not good for them because there is no academic standard as I see it. Number 6, another one right there, not at the top of academics, Oklahoma State University. Oh yeah, getting another $120 million. Their gift from T. Boone Pickens Foundation. Yeah, what about the academic world? They don't really care, now do they? Georgia, another questionable institution, $716 million. That's right. No program in college football spends more money on football recruiting than the Bulldogs, and they, of course, earned a handsome return on investment. Athletic department expenses surpass revenues, and most schools, according to USA Today, the average salary for a college football head coach pre-pandemic in 2019 was $3.5 million. Thanks to unrivaled success and consecutive national titles, Georgia's Kirby Smart makes nearly 4 times that number as one of the football's elite coaches. And of course, the Bulldogs brand in 2024 has never been more recognizable, and Georgia is once again college football's, well, mind you, they were the preseason favorite only to be playing in the college football playoff without their quarterback. Another discussion for another time. Florida Gators. One of my friends is a real heavy donor to the Florida Gators. And I can understand the $763 million. I mean, it is a troubling number as I see it. Now, the University of Florida graduate Gary Condren, CEO and founder of the Conlin Company construction firm, is said to be the largest donor in athletic department history in Gainesville. 2021 release revealed that Condren has given more than $22.5 million to the Gators over the last several years, and the football program's indoor practice facility bears his name. How convenient. Condren played baseball for the Gators in 2018. Yeah, in 2018. Think about that, folks. And we're talking in a 2021 release, $22.5 million. Where'd the money come from? Oh, that's right. He serves as honorary head coach at Florida for the spring football game. Like other high-end boosters nationally, when Condren speaks at Florida, people listen. You know why?
Show me the money!
That's why. It's always about the money, isn't it? Texas, boy, here we go. $766 million, and we already know what we're going to get there. And they're pushing closer to Ohio State. Moving on, Texas A&M. This is kind of a shocker here. A&M, $849 million in name, image, and likeness booster contributions, slush fund money. That's the old 12th Man Foundation, $120 million centennial campaign. It's crazy. Athletes have signed NIL deals worth $10 million from Texas A&M. And not to be outdone are the Oregon Ducks. Now, I would have never guessed this one. The Oregon Ducks, almost $1 billion. But then again, wait, that comes from Nike. Nike founder Phil Knight is the primary reason for the Ducks to have one of the largest, nicest football facilities in the country and are lapping others in NIL resources. And Knight, a university alumnus, has given more than $1 billion back to Oregon over the past 2 decades. In 2016, in fact, he donated $500 million to the university's science program exclusively. Well, what do you know? How do you like them apples? He helped bankroll several state-of-the-art construction projects within athletics and is believed to be the single most influential donor across college athletics. And when your brain's behind the swoosh, you hold that level of power. You know, I do like the fact that he put $500 million into the science program. Now, that's really cool. You don't hear those kinds of stories. And, I mean, look, they seemingly just keep printing money up there in Oregon. But at the same time, at least somebody is doing something for the greater good over there, albeit largely athletic. Imagine what $500 million could do in the state of Mississippi for their academics. What about right here in the state of Nevada? we have one of the worst, right here in Clark County, we have one of the worst school districts in America with all of these casinos here, all of the revenue, and you've got a hockey team, you've got a Raiders football team. They're loaded with money, and look at our academics right here in this state alone, just in this county alone. If, in my opinion, the College of Southern Nevada athletics is being shortchanged by the College of Southern Nevada, well, guess what? The schools here in Clark County are being shortchanged by the local government and its big financial money makers, being the casino industry. It's big industry. But by the way, it's not just casinos here. There's big business here. And as the money comes from Southern Californians, as they continue to invade Las Vegas and turn this into Las Vegas, California, drive the prices higher than one would even imagine. It is so expensive to live in Las Vegas now. And listen, it's not just here. Think about it, folks. If you live in Nashville, Tennessee, it was a lot cheaper maybe 5 years ago than the mass exodus from the people from Chicago and the upper Midwest moving to Nashville, even the people from the western part, even from California, invading there. And let's face it, in Arizona, the Phoenix Valley has had the same problem. So athletics drive dollars, but the mass exodus from California has brought all that money from California into Arizona and made life unaffordable. Same thing here in Vegas, same thing in Salt Lake City, same thing in the Denver area, and we're seeing it in the smaller cities too. We're seeing it again in Knoxville, Tennessee. We're seeing it in Charleston, South Carolina. We're seeing it all over the place. We're seeing it in Gulfport, Mississippi, Fayetteville, Arkansas. We're seeing it in Lubbock, Texas. Folks, wherever life was cheap, it's not cheap anymore. Because why? The dollar has gotten out of control, and you could thank that past administration for wrecking everything. But luckily, Donald J. Trump is back in office and back in business. Yes! And that's for the greater good of everybody in these United States of America. Sorry, Blue Team, if you don't like it, get over it. Your team lost. That's going to do it for the circus today. I'm your ringmaster, Sal. We'll see you in about 23 hours right here on your favorite station. Until then, so long, everyone.
Can your IRA stand up to the next financial crisis that our top economists are saying is at our doorsteps? By allocating a percentage of your IRA into physical gold and silver with a tax-free rollover, you can diversify and safeguard your holdings from turbulent markets and economic downturns by putting your IRA back on the gold standard. Find out how to safeguard your assets with a tax-free rollover with a Genesis Gold IRA, the only IRA that can hold physical precious metals. Call now for your free gold and silver report. Protect your IRA today with one simple phone call and learn how to qualify for up to $10,000 in free silver. Call Genesis Gold Group, empowering faith-driven stewardship. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. That's 800-932-5517.